Hey, this is EAJ Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Escow.
Jeff
Doing bad time. Doing bad time. Got myself a problem. Keeps pushing me. Keeps pushing me on. Keeps pushing. He keeps pushing me. He keeps pushing me on. Impulsive. Yes, that's true. ain't just schism. It's blood-curdling screams from within. Seems the brain won't connect. I can't find a minute of peace. Higher skills, they come next. Duplicity, it ain't easy. I struggle day by day by day. We know we're not alone. Therapists are here most every day. This life, it ain't easy. A sickness that's not going away. One day the truth will be revealed. Silent but speaking volumes is a serpent coiled upon their seal. Every child's mind is like a puzzle box, like a puzzle box. But one of the mind that stays forever locked. Early interventions, the key to it all, the key to it all. Now we lift them up and he won't let them fall. Don't know the bliss of sleep. Don't recognize their names. Shrieking for no damn reason. Won't even look at you. Let me make you all aware. The truth sticks in a doctor's throat. Whether mortal man or sorcerer now. Hypocrite of the Hippocratic oath. We the parents were never told. We the people were not prepared. But God blessed America, right? So why's the White House running scared? Every child's mind is like a puzzle box, like a puzzle box. But what of the mind that stays forever locked? Early interventions, the key to it all, the key to it all. Now we lift them up and he won't let them fall. Pharmaceutical corruption, neurological destruction, monetary seduction, human deconstruction. Every child's mind is like a puzzle box, like a puzzle box. One of the mind that stays forever locked. Early interventions, the key to it all, the key to it all. Now we lift them up and he won't let them fall. Every single child's mind like a puzzle box, but one of the mind that stays forever locked. Tell me who could you're the puzzle box? It's the key to it all. Now we lift them up. He won't let them fall.
Live from San Diego, it's SportsWorldRadio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What in the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Ascow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Escow and Sean Mann.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Sports World Radio. That's right, Sports World Radio in the house. Glad everybody could be with us today. The Friday edition of the Sports World Radio show. Got a jam-packed show, especially in the second half. Got a lot to get to. Remember, today is Friday. We got our Rat Bastard of the Week to give out. We also have our NBA elimination game where we eliminate 2 teams apiece every single week. Every Friday, we are doing that this week. And also, in the second half of the show today, we are giving out our MLB Final Awards. You know, Rookie, Cy Young, MVP, Manager, those awards. So that's going to be fun for us as well. So we got a jam-packed second half of the show. So what do you say we get right into it? You're listening to Sports World Radio on SportsWorldRadio.com, also on HonestAnswerRadio.com, also on Spreaker.com. Follow us on Facebook over there on Facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio, as well as Twitter, Sports World Radio on Twitter with no O in world. Sports World Radio on Twitter without the O in world, so it's SportsWorldRadio over there on Twitter. Twitter, Sports World Radio without the O in world. Follow us on Twitter. What do you say we get this show rocking and rolling? Let's bring in the co-host of Sports World Radio, Sean Mann, the update man. What's going on there, bud?
Doing good, Jeff, and welcome everybody. It is Friday, November 8th, 2013. Currently, the time is 7:06 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 4:06 p.m. on the West. It is kind of a cloudy, overcast day. It was raining all day yesterday, so it's just been cold and wet. How are you, Jeff, and how is Friday, and how is San Diego?
Beautiful, sunny, gorgeous, and just like it always is here. Although we're in a little warm streak right now, but it's sure to get cold. It gets a little chilly at nighttime, too, as well. But what are you going to do? It's starting to be that time of the year. But that's okay. I can deal with it. What do you say we get this show rocking and rolling, my friend?
Yeah, ready to go, ready to rock. As you all know, it is the Friday edition of Sports World Radio, and last night we had an NFL game, kind of little importance kind of in a way, but it was a big game for the Redskins to keep their playoff hopes alive. I lost a point in this game last night as Minnesota was able to prevail by a score of 34-27. For a team that needs a win and for a team that's been dealing with quarterback controversy, that's exactly what the Vikings get. Adrian Peterson had a big game, and the Vikings were able to pull it out. Christian Ponder had a very good game for them. He was 17 of 21. He passed for 174 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and 1 INT. And RG3 was 24 of 37. He passed for 281 yards, 3 TD passes, and no INTs.
I didn't get to see the game because, of course, it's on the NFL Network, and I didn't watch it because I don't have it in the studio, so I didn't bother to even watch it or pay attention at all. But I found out that Minnesota came back and won that game, and I was kind of highly upset because I thought I picked Minnesota. I ended up picking Washington. What's up with that crap?
Yeah, I really thought the Redskins had the advantage, and the Redskins had a 13-point lead. They led 27-14. They were in control of this game, and then they just let it slip by.
Who'd you pick?
I picked Washington.
You picked Washington as well, so you didn't get a point either, right?
Yeah,
cool.
I have to admit, last week's picks for us was really, really bad. I think we all did bad in general.
Yeah, well, we all did bad. I think I got 8, something like that, or 9. I'm 4 points behind you. Me, Kenny C, and Gio, I believe, are tied for third. 4 points behind you. We're coming to get you, man. And then Ebo is in second place. We're all over you, dude. There's no place to go but down for you, man.
Yeah, that is technically true.
And we got you covered, don't we? You're in first place.
Yeah, you guys are trying to trap me. You're trying to get me taken care of right there.
We got you trapped. You're in first place. Ebo is in second. Gio, myself, and Kenny C are tied for third. We got you, man. We got you surrounded. We're pushing you. We're going to push you right on out. Make a big push from the bottom and whoosh, push everybody up. And push you right on out. Move you down to like third or fourth. That's what we're going to do to you, man. and then you're going to have to push everybody out so you can get back up there.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight race already. But the Vikings actually the Redskins lose a really tough game. And, this NFC East is like, even though the Giants are 2-6, they're still in this one barely. But it's just a real tight race. If you look at that NFC East division, you've got Dallas sitting at 5-4. You got Philadelphia 4-5. You got the Redskins 3-6. And we all know what happened last year when the Redskins were 3-6. They won 7 straight games to clinch the NFC East division. Can they do it this year? We'll see what happens. And you got the Giants 2-6.
Hey, how many games are is NHL hockey in right now? How many games have they played total? Do you know?
Oh boy! Well, they've already gotten a month complete. There's like a total of like 82 hockey games.
Yeah, I know. How many games
have hockey left?
How many games have they played so far? Like 15?
I'd say it's probably been 15.
20 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how about the Florida Panthers already firing their freaking head coach and 2 assistants?
Well, whatever's best, especially when your team is struggling like the Panthers are. And I know Ron Gallo will get into that either next week or when I come back from my trip.
Yeah, we got to get into that with Mr. Gallo. I'm going to have to save that article. Can you believe that they've already fired a coach has already been fired in the NHL? What kind of crap is that? 20 games, 25 games in. Unbelievable.
I disagree with it, Jeff, because, look, it's only 20, like you said, 20, 25 games in. Give the guy a chance, It's not like if maybe you wait till like January or February and things aren't progressing, then what you have to do is say, okay, we need to make a move. I'm going to bring in an interim head coach, see how well the team goes.
Kevin Deenan was the only coach to win a division championship in Panthers history. And he was let go Friday morning. Done. See ya.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. Unstinkable. And I saw that headline. It said Panthers. I was like, oh, wow, man. Already? Coach is gone already? I thought it would be for sure Jacksonville or Tampa Bay or maybe even Miami with all that crap that's going on over there, which I don't like talking about because we don't know the full story yet. And ESPN is just beating the living crap out of this story. Beating the living crack out of this incognito Martin bullying case. It's just going crazy. That's why we haven't done a lot of talk on it, because it's not fully over, and I don't want to give my opinion yet until it's fully over. I'm not like these other guys who give their opinion and then something else happens and then it's forced to change their opinion and then something else happens and then they got to change their opinion again and then something else happens and then they got to change their opinion again. So they've changed their opinion 5 times on you already. I don't want to do that. I want to give you one opinion. So that's why I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to all you?
It does make sense. That's why I turn the TV off, because this is the thing that they're doing is they're
beating the crap
and blowing it out of proportion.
They're beating the living crap out of this story. Everybody and their mother on every single talk show is talking about this. You know it's bad when regular news shows talk about this. You know it's bad. But, they're beating the living crap out of this news story like they beat the living crap out of everything. And it drives me nuts. I got an idea. Why don't you wait till the story totally unfolds and then give your opinion? Instead of having to change your opinion every time a new story comes out.
Yeah, and they're just blowing this thing up and blowing it out of proportion. And I just, that's the way the sporting media and the media is these days. They just can't ever learn to put something behind and try to learn to move on and forget about it. And it's just really making me sick. I'm just trying to figure out and, study all the baseball headlines and following the NBA. I'm just trying to do whatever I can, Jeff, just to get away from it because it gets old, it gets tiring, and people are like saying, move on, move on and quit, jumping to conclusions.
Right. You haven't even heard from the 2 guys yet. Meanwhile, everybody and their mother is saying blah, 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 blah. And then something else happens and they got to change what they said. Just shut the hell up and wait.
Yeah, and move on and stop jumping. And that's the thing you get so sick about with people these days sometimes. You have people that sometimes just jump to conclusions and it gets so old, and then they make
Driving
things
me
up, which
bananas.
isn't true.
It's driving me stinking bananas. That's why we haven't talked about it a lot here, because it's not over yet. And I want to wait till it's over to start talking about it, and then I can give my opinion. I don't want to have to change my opinion 5 times.
And don't forget, everybody, tomorrow the NFL Real Talk Show goes on. We'll have our picks for tomorrow. We got one game complete, and the NFC East, of course, is complete. NFC North, of course, you got Detroit 5-3, Green Bay 5-3, Chicago 5-3, and Minnesota 2-7. Of course, the Vikings were able to get a much-needed win. I'll cover that as far as we go because, the Vikings win trying to figure out, we need a miracle. We need everybody to lose. We need to win. All of our games get in there. Highly unlikely. The Vikings just need to fight for a draft pick.
It's pretty crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, and right now, Jeff, I don't know who to pick in the NFC North. With Aaron Rodgers being out for the next couple of weeks, that's going to really damage the Packers if you look at that NFC North division.
Yeah, they're in trouble. If Aaron Rodgers stays out more than 4 weeks, you can say goodbye to them. They're finished. They're done.
Yeah.
They're done in NA because in that division there, you got Chicago and you got Detroit, who are actually playing against each other this week. And whatchamacallit's coming back. What the heck's his name? The quarterback for Chicago?
Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler's coming back from his injury. So he'll be starting in that game. But still.
Well, if you look at the standings and you look at the next couple weeks for Green Bay.
They don't have a chance for Green Bay if Aaron is out more than 4 weeks. They don't have a chance in heck.
Yeah.
They got a tough. They got the Vikings. They play the Giants. Correct? I know those 2 games. They got Philadelphia. I know that. Who am I missing?
Let's see. They are hosting this weekend against Philadelphia at the Giants. That's November 17th. At home against Minnesota. And then on Thanksgiving,
They got
the
the
Packers
Lions.
travel to Detroit.
Correct. And if you're thinking about their bye, well, sorry, kids. They already had their bye, Green Bay. So now they
All
got
the way
nothing
back
but,
in week 4.
They got nothing left but football now. So they're in trouble if Aaron's out more than 4 weeks. And I believe he's going to be out more than 4 weeks.
That's going to hurt him definitely. And I was surprised to hear that he was injured against Chicago. And, of course, I think I did pick Green Bay again. It was a rough week for everybody for the NFL Pick'em, even though tomorrow night's our NFL Real Talk. We'll see how this weekend develops.
Yes, we will. It's going to be interesting. And join us for our show tomorrow, our NFL Real Talk, where we talk nothing but NFL and make our NFL picks in the second half of tomorrow night's show. So join us for that. 7 p.m. on the West, 10 p.m. on the East, right here on Sports World Radio. Okay, what do you got next for me, bud?
The next thing we have, better get it done right now, the 2 NBA teams that need to be eliminated. As you know, Jeff and I are giving out our picks every week about the 2 teams that'll be gone, but and who we expect to win it all.
Correct. We'll be doing that in the second half of the show as well as making our picks in the NFL show.
The next one I got is the NBA standings. As you all know, you got Indiana. They are 5-0. They're really playing. Are the Pacers for real, Jeff? What do you think?
Are the Pacers for real? They're the only undefeated team left, correct?
Yeah.
Who the hell knows?
They're 5-0. Detroit's 2-2. Milwaukee is 2-2. Cleveland is 2-3. And the Chicago Bulls, who a lot of people expected to be good this year, of course, are 1-3. But, of course, with the NBA, it's so early. So early right now. And you know that a lot of teams are going to get going. Miami's kind of off to a little bit of a tough start, too. In the Atlantic Division, of course, you got the Philadelphia 76ers. They're 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn is 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
2-3 Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
1-3 New York, and 1-4 Boston.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season, and it's just started, and we got a long way to go. It's a marathon.
The Knicks, I believe, are going to get going in this Atlantic Division.
Well,
I picked them when we gave our picks. But Brooklyn, if they stay healthy, will be in it. But if they don't stay healthy, and if the age catches up with them with all their veterans, that's going to have a big impact on them.
Well, I hate to tell you something. With Chandler being out 4 to 6 weeks, Knicks got a little bit of a problem themselves.
Well, looking at Spike Lee, I could see the look on his face when I was watching ESPN, just how disgusted he was that the Knicks are in this kind of position.
Yes, I'm disgusted with the Knicks in this position. So, You know.
Hopefully they'll stay together and just keep it up, and otherwise the Knicks could just make some moves or some trades to make them better.
Well, I don't know if they can. I think they're right up against the cap right now, and they had Cole Ulrich sitting down who wasn't playing, so he wasn't even dressing, so they'll probably add him to the roster now, and that's another big man. So we'll see what happens with their biggie man. You know, they're still trying to learn everybody. J.R. Smith ain't there; he's still out for 5 games for smoking pot in the offseason. So we'll see what happens.
In the Southeast standings, of course, you got the Miami Heat. They are 4-2. The Charlotte Bobcats are 3-2. Orlando 3-2.
Yeah, it's still way freaking early. I mean, they've only played 5 or 6 games, so it's way early. Wait till we get into 20, 25 games, which will be in about a month. So.
Yeah, wait till we get to I'd say about February or March. It'll really start picking up, and it's early. And of course, the NBA All-Star Game. We're not even there yet until February comes up next year.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just watching them right now. I'm not thinking of anything. I'm just watching games. I won't start thinking of probably till after. Right around All-Star game break and right after that.
Yeah.
So, what else you got for me, pal?
In Major League Baseball, of course, the other news coming, with all the transactions, of course, I got to go real quickly with the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox know very well that it's going to be very hard to keep their team together, and I knew that as well. Apparently, with the Red Sox, if they don't get Jacoby Ellsbury, there has been a lot of news on Facebook and all over the sports tickers today that the Red Sox are actively pursuing Carlos Beltran. And I'm wondering my thoughts about it. I guess it'd be okay. It's a veteran, but I'd hate to see Jacoby go. But like you said, Jeff, it's going to be hard to keep that whole team together.
Kobe Myers is going to want $20-25 million bucks a year. Boston ain't going to do that.
No, but they're studying the options about what they have to do in case they lose Ellsbury. That's going to be a big question for them. And then another thing, Mike Napoli was also offered a multi-year deal, but he is going to be looking at the free agent market now.
Yeah, well, Napoli and Napoli and what's the other guy's name we were just talking about?
Well,
what's the other guy's name?
Beltran, and you got
listen to
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Jacoby Ellsbury, Napoli, and one other guy was offered a contract for $14.1 million bucks. Boston offered all 3 guys those contracts.
Stephen Drew.
Yeah, Stephen Drew. Thank you. Offered all 3 of those guys a contract for $14.1 million for the year. Nobody has bid yet. They want to check out free agency. Who knows? They can go back there and say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to stay here and sign the contract.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. The one guy that did not get offered the deal was Jared Saltalamacchia.
Correct. But he might end up being there anyway.
He might, and of course the Red Sox are also looking at Brian McCann as another possibility. I've been hearing good things about him, and they're also looking at Tim Hudson. So Boston, knowing that they're trying to do what no team hasn't done since the 98 through 2000 Yankees, and that is repeat. And I know repeating is going to be tough. I know it is. It's never easy to repeat. It's very hard to get back there 2 straight years in a row.
Well, you want to know something?
But I stick with them anyway.
Well, here, check this out. Boston had their voting yesterday for their mayor.
Yeah.
And your buddy, Big Papi David Ortiz, ended up in 3rd in the voting for the mayor of Boston. To become the mayor of Boston, David Ortiz, Big Papi himself, was 3rd in the voting to be the mayor. Are you kidding me?
Oh, boy.
Did you know that? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
How about that? David Ortiz. He wasn't running for mayor. David Ortiz was voted by voters in Boston because they just had their Boston, their mayoral campaign, and they voted yesterday and everything. David Ortiz, Big Papi, was a write-in vote for everybody who wrote him in, and he ended up in 3rd place to become the mayor. Can you believe that?
Jeez.
Big Papi ended up in 3rd place to become the mayor of Boston. Unstinking believable.
Well, the way I look at it is that David Ortiz is going to finish up the rest of his career in Boston. There would be no other takers. He's had a sensational career, and I've always said without David Ortiz, the Red Sox never would have won it in 2004, 2007, and this year. And he has 3 rings, and he has a lot to be proud of because he was not just the leader of the team this year. He had other guys who helped out and pitched him, but Ortiz was clutch when it mattered this year.
I mean, that's just crazy. Voting him in to become the mayor of Boston. That's just freaking nuts.
But we'll see what happens. And I don't blame some of the Red Sox players or anybody. You're going to be like saying, look, we'd like to stay here, but we have to evaluate the options elsewhere and start looking at other deals and looking at other teams who are expressing
it is a business.
Interest.
It is a business, and you can't hold on to everybody all the time. So we'll see what happens with them and what happens with their team.
Especially with Robinson Cano, a guy who wants 10 years and $300 million. Good luck with that.
Yeah, he ain't going to get that. There's no way. And you were right. They finally made it official. The Cubbies made it official. They hired Rich Renteria as their new manager. So you got a lot of new managers in there. Renteria's first-time manager. Williams, first-time manager. Brad Asmus, first-time manager. A lot of freaking first-time managers. What's the other called? Brian Price or Brian Smith? I can't remember his last name over there in Cincinnati. Took over for Dusty Baker. So you got a lot of brand-new managers, man. Crazy, huh?
Very crazy indeed. And as baseball season, since it ended last week, now the drama is going to be starting to get toward Alex Rodriguez as he will continue to appeal this 211-game suspension, but it will continue to be upheld.
Well, yeah, it's just a suspension of the 211 games. He's not pissed off about he's pissed off about the suspension. He's pissed off about how much time the suspension is, which I happen to agree with. 211 games? What are you, freaking kidding me?
And that's a year out of your career and a salary
ridiculous.
Gone right there.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, first of all, because if I remember correctly, he's only been twice since it's been against the thing, and the second one is only 100. So how the hell did they get 211? I don't understand it.
That's the thing that you and I don't have an answer for, because think about it. Alex Rodriguez gets 211 games. Okay, that came back in August when that ruling came across. Miguel Tejada got suspended 105 games for performance-enhancing drugs. It doesn't make sense.
They're making up their own
I don't
rules.
understand it.
They're making up their own rules. Bud Selig's making up his own rules.
Bud Selig, I will be glad when he retires. Maybe he was good as a Brewers owner, but he was just not the answer to be the Major League Baseball commissioner. The guy has screwed up the game enough.
Yeah, I need to take over that and fix it.
Fix it and get rid of the All-Star rule, the extra wild card, fix the steroids, make the game healthy again.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's a good thing we didn't even go on strike, too, because you got to remember, MLB was very close to going on lockout in 2002 in late August. I remember that, and it was very close.
Very, very close.
But they finally got negotiations made. Here's what Joe Girardi said. He goes, quote, "It's important that we know, because if we are not going to have Alex Rodriguez, we need to fill that void. It does cause us to think a lot about, quote, do we need a third baseman or do we not need a third baseman? Well, if Alex Rodriguez is suspended for 211 games, you might as well go out and start shopping for third baseman."
Yeah, they need a third baseman. They definitely need a third baseman.
Because they've already offered Curtis Granderson a $14.1 million deal. That's a qualifying offer. Beltran is out there. Sin Shu, that's a tough one to say, would also emerge as a possibility if the Yankees' initial plans do not work.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch them and see what they do too. So we'll see what happens in baseball. You want to go to an update, my friend? Let's get to an update.
Sure.
Hey, this update is brought to you by BuyHuntingEquipment.com. For all your camping, fishing, and hiking gear, head on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com. With the holiday season coming up, get ahead of your curve. Go on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com and start your holiday shopping now. BuyHuntingEquipment.com. Take it away, Sean, man.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and welcome everybody to Friday, November 8th, 2013. We've reached the bottom of the hour at 7:29 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 4:29 p.m. on the West. We start with, of course, Major League Baseball headlines. The Chicago Cubs have gotten themselves a new manager from the team. Dale Swaim, of course, was fired as Cubs manager, so Theo Epstein went to the went to the drawing board and went out and got a guy by the name of Rick Renteria, who was a bench coach for the San Diego Padres, will become the new manager of the Chicago Cubs. So that deal, all complete, all done. Brad Ausmus, as you know, he's the new manager of the Detroit Tigers. Don Mattingly says that he will agree to continue to remain the manager of the LA Dodgers in 2014. And Joe Girardi, of course, staying with the Yankees for a 4-year deal. That was a few weeks ago. And McCutcheon, of course, says it's only the beginning for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He firmly believes that after the Pirates had an incredible season, that the Pirates are well on their way to being a tough team for the years to come.
Bullshit.
In other news to report for Major League Baseball, of course, the Boston Red Sox are making a lot of moves right now, trying to make sure that their team is strong enough to repeat, and I would like that very much. Of course, Jacoby Ellsbury is still the top prize that they want to get re-signed, along with Mike Napoli and Stephen Drew, and maybe they'll have room for Jared Saltalamacchia. Who knows? The Red Sox have also expressed interest in Tim Hudson and in Carlos Beltran, to make sure that their team will be tough in 2014 to defend their World Series championship. So that's the news that's coming across right now for the Red Sox. The Yankees, of course, are involved. A lot of stuff going on in baseball, as we are only a few weeks away from the winter meetings. In the NFL, one final to repeat. That would be the Minnesota Vikings coming back from a 13-point deficit. They take the game 34-27. Adrian Peterson and Christian Ponder had good games for Minnesota. The Redskins losing kind of hurts their playoff hopes just a little bit, because then they would need a miracle like last year to pull off probably 7 or 6 in a row just to get in. So that's the news. And, of course, tomorrow is our NFL Real Talk show, where Jeff and I will be giving out our picks for week number 11, I believe it is. In the NBA, of course, there's a lot of games going on right now. The Charlotte Bobcats, they lead the New York Knicks by a score of 20-19 with 1 minute and 44 seconds remaining in the first period. First period down in Indianapolis, Indiana, the Toronto Raptors lead 30-18. And 50 seconds left to go. The Orlando Magic have a lead of 23-14, actually 21-14 over the 23-14 over the Boston Celtics. The Cleveland Cavaliers over the Philadelphia 76ers, that's a 28-14 lead with 3 seconds left in the first period. The Brooklyn Nets, who kind of got off to a slow start, they are now ahead 27-18 with 1 minute and 16 seconds left in the first quarter. And other games tonight on this Friday night for the NBA, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're taking on the Detroit Pistons, the Utah Jazz at the Chicago Bulls, the Dallas Mavericks at the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Los Angeles Lakers at the New Orleans Pelicans, Golden State Warriors at the San Antonio Spurs. And as a matter of fact, this is the first meeting between these two teams since going back to the Western Conference semifinals. And as you all remember, San Antonio was able to escape and take the series in 6 games against Golden State. The Denver Nuggets at the Phoenix Suns, and the Sacramento Kings are taking on the Portland Trailblazers. So that's some of the news from the NBA, the games on tap for tonight. And pretty much none of the games are on ESPN, because tonight there is a lot of college basketball games going on right now. In the NHL, there's a lot of other games going on tonight. Actually, 4 games on tap. You got the New Jersey Devils at the Toronto Maple Leafs, Nashville Predators at the Winnipeg Jets, Flames at the Colorado Avalanche, Buffalo Sabres at the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. So those are the 10 games. Last night, there were 11 games total, and here were the finals from last night's action. The Boston Bruins, the defending Eastern Conference Stanley Cup champions, they beat the Florida Panthers by a score of 4-1. Ottawa Senators, they do the same thing to the Montreal Canadiens, 4-1. The New Jersey Devils take the game 3-0 against the Philadelphia Flyers. In a game that went in a shootout, the Washington Capitals over the Minnesota Wild 3-2. Carolina Hurricanes 1 and the Islanders 0. The Rangers prevail by a score of 4-2 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Dallas Stars at the Detroit Red Wings, and that game goes to the Stars in overtime. The Tampa Bay Lightning 4, Edmonton Oilers 2. St. Louis Blues, they take the game 3-2 against the Flames. In a shutout, the Los Angeles Kings 2 and the Buffalo Sabres 0. And the other game, the Vancouver Canucks, they prevail by a score of 4-2 against the San Jose Sharks. For your Sports World Radio update and report, I am Sean Mann, your update man. Back to Jeff Eskow, who is your host of Sports World Radio. Take it away, Jeff.
That update was brought to you by BuyHuntingEquipment.com. For all your camping, fishing, and hiking gear, head on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com. And with the holidays coming up, start that holiday shopping right now and head on over to BuyHuntingEquipment.com. What are you laughing at?
It sounds like a really good deal to do some shopping, especially with the holidays right around the corner.
Right.
There you go.
That's right. All right, so second half of the show, what do you want to start with? You want to start with our NBA dismissal, considering that's only 2 teams? We can do it pretty quick.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, so let's every Friday, Sean and I are eliminating 2 NBA teams apiece who we don't think will win the NBA championships. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to end up with one team that we think that was going to win the NBA championship. Sean's going to end up with one team. We haven't discussed this. We have no idea who's doing what. So what do you say, Sean? I'll let you pick your first team, either way.
Okay, and the first team that I'm going to pick, I'm going to start with the Eastern Conference here.
Okay.
I'm going to eliminate the NBA champion Miami Heat.
Really? You're knocking off the Heat. Wow.
Yep. Last week it was the Boston Celtics from the November 1st show.
Right.
Now I'm going with Miami. It's going to be amazing to see how far they get. Will they have enough weapons to get back there? I don't know. Brooklyn might stay with them, but everybody's going for them, and that's why get rid of them the sooner the better.
Wow. You better hope Andrew doesn't hear that. He's knocking
Oh,
off the
Browning.
Miami Heat. Okay, I'm going to, you know what? I'm getting rid of your Boston Celtics, dude. I've been watching them. They don't look like they're even going to make the playoffs. So I'm knocking out your Boston Celtics. That's my team.
Well, you know,
week,
that's exactly why, Jeff,
Yeah.
last Friday I did that, because I don't like what I see from them. They blew a game against Milwaukee, and it's going to be a long year, and Brad Stevens is going to have to – it's just going from college to NBA is going to be very interesting. They lost pretty much their whole team throughout the summer.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and we'll see what happens, and that's why I picked the number 1 team. I mean, that's why I picked the Celtics, because I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. So, you know, so that's why. And you knocked them out to your team, and you knocked them out already, so I'm knocking them out this week as well. Okay, so what team is your second team?
I'm going to go right to the Western Conference, because this is every week I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to take care of the Los Angeles Lakers.
You're knocking out the Lakers. Holy cannoli, Batman. Kobe's not even back yet.
I don't think they're strong enough. I really think the Lakers possibly make it to the playoffs, but they won't get past OKC, San Antonio. Can't rule out Golden State, maybe Dallas, maybe Denver. I just don't think LA is strong enough, especially since they've lost some key pieces to their team.
Did you just say maybe Denver? You've already knocked you already knocked them out. You knocked them out.
No, I'm
last
teasing.
week.
I don't think they're strong enough to go up against San Antonio or OKC. Those are 2 teams that have really played the Lakers well.
Okay, well, you know what? Speaking of Denver, that's who I'm knocking out this week. You
All
knocked
right.
out Denver last week. I'm knocking Denver out this week.
New coach and new system with Brian
it's
Shaw,
gonna
and
take
I've
them a
been
while.
questioning that and saying, well, how's he going to do with that team?
It's going to take them a while to get themselves moving. So the team you knocked out this week is the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers, and I knocked out the Celtics and the Nuggets.
And I can agree with you, and we both can agree about Denver too, Jeff, because it's just, the move they made to get rid of George Karl was absolutely pathetic. I just don't agree with it. I didn't think it was wise. George Karl was a heck of a coach, and he'll find probably another coaching job if he's up to it, even though he had to battle through cancer, too. Keep that in mind.
He's working for ESPN right now, so that's what
Yep, I
he's
see
going to
it.
be doing. That's what he's going to be doing for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you say we move on over to our MLB segment and give out our final year, or our, what are we going to call it? Our final year awards in the MLB.
That's right.
And don't forget, we still got to get to our Rap Bastard of the Week too yet, so we'll get to that as well. All right, so what do you want to start off for Major League Baseball?
Jeff, let's start with the American League Manager of the Year.
American League Manager of the Year. Who are you going with?
He did a job with the Red Sox. He took them all the way to the World Series. I have to go with John Farrell.
Freaking homer.
He did outstanding, and he came to the clubhouse. He turned the team around. And he said, look, we're going to be better this year, and we're going to forget everything that happened in 2012.
You're a freaking homer. I bet you that's not the last Red Sox we're going to hear from.
We'll see.
Don't say anything. But I'm getting, and I don't know, boys and girls, because we don't do this together. I'm betting that's 1, 2. He's probably got maybe 3, maybe 4 total. Maybe 3 total. I'm guessing because that's just the way he is. He's a homer. That's just.
Who are you picking as the AL Manager of the Year, Jeff?
Bob Melvin of the of the Oakland A's. Bob Melvin of the Oakland A's. They won the AL West. They were in first place there, 96 and 66, and they got no names. They're a no-name team, young players, not a lot of money, and they won. And they first place. Bob Melvin's doing a great job out there in Oakland, and so is Billy Beane. I'm going with Bob Melvin. How do you like them apples? Like those apples?
Bob Melvin, you're right, was a good choice. And you picked him for the first half awards, too, Jeff. So that was a good pick. And he was like my second option. But, and they're both good managers. Farrell and Melvin did a heck of a job with both of their teams.
I'm sticking with my guns. Now, in the National League, I went back and forth. But who are you picking in the National League for your Manager of the Year?
Oh, I was the same way, bud. I was the same way. I went back and forth, and I was debating and kind of doing some research. I went with him in the first half awards. I'm going to go with Clint Hurdle of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
Did a great job. They took the Cardinals to a 5th game. They finally brought some playoff baseball back to Pittsburgh, and this was a small market team.
Let me ask you a question.
I give Hurdle.
They made the playoffs, right? They played in the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah, they lost in 5 games to the Cardinals, and thank goodness. Otherwise, if they would have won the whole thing, we would have never heard the end of it from Wes.
They made the playoffs. Big freaking deal.
Well, who did you go with for your 2013 National League Manager of the Year?
I went with the National League champions. I went with freaking Mike Matheny. I thought he did a great, phenomenal job. Fantastic job over there. 97 and 65, first place. They are the NL champs. I thought he did a fantastic job. I was having a debate with myself between Clint Hurdle, Mike Matheny, and Don Mattingly.
Good choices for all 3, and I was doing research too, and Matheny did a great job, and you can know darn well that ever since the Cardinals lost La Russa and...
Hello?
Yeah, it's been interesting. And everybody said, well, the Cardinals would pull. What happened? They go to the NLCS last year, and then this year they go to the Series.
Yeah, it's been very interesting to see what's going on over there. I was fighting between Mike Matheny. I was fighting between Mike Matheny, Clint Hurdle, and Don Mattingly. And the reason why I went with Mike Matheny is because Clint Hurdle had to get his team into the playoffs through the wild cards. whereas Mike Matheny went right in. And
Yep.
so then it came between Mike Matheny and Don Mattingly. And if Don Mattingly gets Manager of the Year in the National League in the MLB, don't you think the Dodgers got to give him a contract, or they say screw it, leave him alone, let him be a lame duck manager, and blam?
Well, Jeff, we talked about this a few weeks ago on a show. We talked about how Mattingly gets his option picked up for next year to remain in L.A. Quite clearly, there is a bad relationship between the Dodgers ownership and Don Mattingly, and that could be trouble next year. Possibly Don Mattingly could be fired, maybe, because of the relationship between him and the ownership.
See, I don't think they've let him go yet. I think they're waiting to see who becomes Manager of the Year in the National League before they do anything.
Well, think about it, too. Don Mattingly's job was on the line when they were 30 and 42 back in June.
I know, and then they went on that run.
They went on the run, and they were the hottest team in baseball. And then they ended up losing to the Cardinals in 6 games in the National League Championship Series.
Yeah. Okay, so your National League Manager of the Year is Clint Hurdle. Mine is Mike Matheny. Where do you want to go next, my friend?
Let's do the American League Cy Young Award.
Okay, who's your first one? Who's your American League?
Jeff, from the first half awards, I went with Clay Buchholz. I'm changing it. I'm going with Max Scherzer.
Wow, you got off a freaking Boston Red Sox, move away from that guy and went to another team? Holy freaking cannoli.
Scherzer was outstanding,
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, he was not easy to hit off of.
No, in fact, I picked Max Scherzer as well. 21-3, a 2.90 ERA, 240 Ks, and a 0.97 WHIP. What are you kidding me?
He was outstanding, and I tell you, games that the Red Sox went up against him, he was tough. He was not easy to get hits off of. And, of course, you picked Max Scherzer, too, Jeff, from the first half awards.
Yeah, how about his whip? A 0.97 with hitters in position. Is that crazy?
Right. Very crazy.
That's nuts. That's not even a run. That's nuts. That's just freaking ridiculous. That's why I went with Max Scherzer as well. I mean, I got to stick with the people I've gone with. I think the only time I changed so far is my National League Manager of the Year, right?
Right.
Who did I pick at the beginning of the year?
You picked, of course, Max Scherzer.
No. In the National League Manager of the Year, who did I pick?
Oh, at the beginning of the year.
Yes. Who did I pick at the beginning of the year for my National League Manager?
I'll do some looking here. I have that somewhere, Jeff. Just a sec.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I picked I picked Mike Matheny now, but I believe at the beginning of the season before it started, I picked somebody else. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
I'm
picked
looking
Mike
for
Matheny.
you.
I think I picked somebody else. In the American League, in the National League Cy Young, while he's looking that up, I'll give you my National League Cy Young Award winner, who I think it'll probably end up going to, is Clayton Kershaw.
Oh, here we go. Now, Jeff, at the
who did I
beginning,
pick?
you
Yeah.
picked Kirk Gibson to be the NL Manager of the Year
Okay.
for the Diamondbacks.
Right, I changed it to Mike Matheny. I'm picking my National League Cy Young is Clayton Kershaw, 16-9, a 1.83 ERA, 232 strikeouts. And a 0.92 WHIP. Are you kidding me? So I went with Clayton Kershaw. Who'd you pick?
Jeff, easy. Clayton Kershaw of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He was outstanding. I would be shocked if he doesn't get this.
Me too. Although there are a couple of other guys, but I would be totally shocked if he doesn't get this. So we both picked Max Scherzer, and we both picked Clayton Kershaw. Wow. And we don't even know because we don't do this together. Wow. That's crazy. Okay, so we only have 2 subjects left, MVP and rookie, right?
The MVP and the Rookie of the Year, and I figure we could start with the American League Rookie of the Year. This was a tough one.
Come on, do it. Say it.
Jose Iglesias of the Detroit Tigers.
Holy freaking moly, man.
I did my research on Wednesday, buddy.
You're unfreaking believable because that's who I picked. He took over shortstop for Johnny Peralta when Johnny Peralta got suspended for 50 games, correct?
Correct. And this was
then-
a huge trade
Correct.
between Boston and Detroit.
Correct. He used to be a Boston Red Sox, and Detroit traded for him knowing that Peralta was getting suspended. They got him. He took over shortstop for Peralta, and when Peralta came back, Peralta played a lot of left field, didn't he?
Yep.
So Iglesias could stay in the lineup. He had a batting average of .303, only 3 home runs, 29 RBIs, and he struck out 39 times. But he was a dynamite shortstop, and still is a dynamite shortstop. They got him in there for more of his defense than anything, and it was the right play. So when Peralta came back from the 50-game suspension first playoff round, they hit Peralta in left field and left Iglesias at shortstop. That's crazy. That's
And
why I'm
sometimes,
giving it
you need that. You need to make sure you have players that can play defense, and that's why Detroit did that. They brought him in there so he could play defense and help the team out with winning games. He wasn't really like a clutch hitter or the clutch player
No,
for Detroit, but he was a good Rookie of the Year candidate.
He was the defensive player on that team. He was the main defensive player because he was a phenomenal shortstop and still is a phenomenal shortstop. And that's the only reason why they went and got him, because he's got more range than Peralta up the middle. They can shore the middle up totally 100% with Iglesias there. His bat is not the best, but they don't want him for his bat. They want him for his base running when he gets on base, his base stealing, and his defense, and that's it. So that's why I picked Iglesias, and it's funny that you did too. I'm going to laugh my ass off if we got the National League one the same as well. And I have a feeling we do. Because it took me a little while to pick this one. I didn't want to pick it, but I had no choice. Who'd you pick for your National League MVP?
National League MVP, I went with Andrew McCutchen, Pittsburgh Pirates.
You did go with him, huh?
Yep.
I looked at him. I looked at Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt deserves deserves a mention. I almost picked him, but I ended up with Yasiel Puig. That's who I ended up with. I didn't want to, but I had to. I ended up with Yasiel Puig. .319 average, 19 home runs, 42 RBIs, 66 runs, and 11 stolen bases. His defense was great at times, and towards the end, in the playoffs and the end of the season in the playoffs, he looked like he didn't want to be there no more. But I still got to give it to him, man. What a kid. And he's a kid.
And he was clutch, and he did a great job of turning the Dodgers around, and they were just the hottest team.
Right, and he energized that whole freaking city, man. You know what I'm saying?
He did, and the Dodgers were selling out, and they were the hottest team in all of baseball, and they had all the talent to be really, really good and possibly win the whole thing, but it just wasn't enough as they ran into a St. Louis team that really gave them lots of trouble.
I went with Puig on that. So and there's still one category left, and I'm shocked. We've only had one Red Sox in this whole thing so far. I'm shocked. I'm totally shocked. MVP, who's your MVP
you know what? I saved this just for the right occasion. The American League MVP, he was the World Series MVP, David Ortiz.
That's wrong. Not even close, you homer. Not even close. He's not. You know what? He's in the same breath as becoming mayor of Boston before he's in the same breath of the MVP. Before he's in the same breath of the MVP of the American League. No way in hell. Okay? Miguel Cabrera is the MVP of the American League. He batted .348. He had 44 home runs, which I know David Poppy didn't have. He had 137 RBIs, which I know David Poppy didn't have. And he had 103 runs, which I know David Poppy didn't have. So Miguel Cabrera.
Detroit Tigers.
Miguel Cabrera. American League MVP right there. I would not be shocked if he ends up doing the same thing he did last year. He does the Triple Crown. Wow.
He's a great player, and he's done a heck of a job for them. And, wow.
I would not be shocked. Who's your National League MVP?
Well, yeah, I went with just like with you. I went with Yasiel. Gosh, how do you say his name?
Yasiel Puig? You
Yeah.
went with Yasiel Puig for MVP.
Yep, that's who I went with.
Okay, I'm glad you did. I went with Paul Goldschmidt. I mentioned his name earlier, didn't I?
Yeah.
I went with Paul Goldschmidt. 302 batting average, 36 home runs, 125 RBIs, and 103 runs, doubling everything that Yasiel Puig does, except for the average.
And Paul Goldschmidt plays for
Arizona
Diamondbacks. Okay,
Correct.
I just want to make sure I had the team down. There
Correct.
we go.
Arizona Diamondbacks. Paul Goldschmidt, MVP of the National. There was a lot of good choices there. A lot of good choices. Lots of good choices for the National League MVP. It's going to be a race and a half over there. American League, it looked like it was the same three from last year. Miguel Cabrera. What's his face from California Angels?
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout, thank you.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, I can't remember his name either. But Miguel Cabrera just kicked it, man. So that's why I went with him for MVP in the American League and Paul Goldschmidt in the National League. Okay, we got to give out our Rap Bastard of the Week award. Who do you got?
And it's just perfect that this is going to happen at the right time for the Rap Bastard of the Week. Jeff, I went with the Miami Dolphins organization and the bullying scandal.
And the what? The
bullying scandal.
The bowling? Oh, the bullying.
Yep.
The bullying scandal.
I was practicing that before I came on the air today.
Okay. Do you know, I have to share something with you guys. I like that. That's a good one right there. Take it.
Thanks. Mm-hmm.
I like it. That's a good one. I have to share something with you guys, okay? I have to share it. With all this incognito and Martin and this bullying and Miami Dolphins and all this stuff going on, I have to read this article to you. It's from ESPN.com. I'm just waiting for this video to come up so I don't have to hear it and I can kill it and it won't bother me. You guys aren't going to hear it anyway, but it'll bother me while I'm trying to read this article to you because I really want to read this article to you because I think you guys are just going to love this. The headline is, Incognito investigated for molestation. Okay, molestation. Recently suspended offensive lineman Richie Incognito was investigated last year for harassing a volunteer at the Miami Dolphins annual golf tournament by allegedly molesting her with a golf club, according to the Ventura, Florida police. The original police report states that the alleged incident happened at the Tanbury Resort and Club in Ventura, but no charges were filed against Incognito. The 34-year-old volunteer told police Incognito had been drinking and was acting very inappropriate towards her, and that she went to the police after Incognito said he wouldn't apologize. The report states that the volunteer told police that Incognito used his golf club to touch her by rubbing up against her vagina, then up her stomach, then to her chest. He then used the club to knock a pair of sunglasses off the top of her head. After that, he proceeded to lean up against her buttocks with the private parts as if dancing, saying, "Let it rain, let it rain," the report states. He finally finished his inappropriate behavior by emptying the bottle of water in her face. The story was first reported Thursday by WPLG ABC in Miami. The woman, who is black, told several media outlets she has declined to talk because she had signed a confidentiality agreement. Incognito, a ninth-year veteran, was suspended by the Dolphins on Sunday for conduct detrimental to the team, and amid accusations he bullied and he used reason, blah, 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 blah. All this happened before all the bullying and all the other crap happened. Management And other players went up to this 34-year-old lady and apologized for him, so Miami knew that he did that. Now, everybody's been to a golf tournament where there's drinking and all that good stuff, and things get a little bit out of control. It's happened in golf tournaments that I've been at. It's happened in golf tournaments I've actually worked at, and the person that was actually doing it was stopped by me. I told them, don't do that. That's not appropriate. Please, you're offending her. Please stop and apologize right away. That's all you got to do, and most of the time it happens. Unless the guy's totally hammered, and then you put him down and you escort him out. But everybody's been to a golf course. Everybody's seen it happen a million times. This happened 2 years ago. Okay, kids. 2 years ago. But just to give you an idea of this guy's character. That's all.
Yep.
Pretty crazy, huh, Sean?
Pretty crazy, and it's just getting really ugly every time by what's going on in Miami. I'm so glad I'm not living there. I'd be like going crazy and nuts.
Okay, with that all being said, we'll be back tomorrow for our NFL Real Talk. Remember, 10 o'clock tomorrow night on the East, 7 p.m. on the West. Until then, my friends, that is Sean Mann. I am Jeff Escal. This has been Sports World Radio. Remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck, but the alternative is unacceptable. Peace out, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, and good night.
Hey, boy, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, didn't we? So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?
The show's over. See you next time.
Next time? When's that?
Pretty soon. Don't worry.
Pretty soon?